Sahara. Welcome back to my channel. So, I am doing top 10 saddest animated deaths, as you can probably see from the thumbnail. And so I'm just gonna talk about the top 10 saddest animated deaths for me. So you may not agree with it. You may not even think the death itself was sad. And there may be some characters that actually technically came back to life. Actually, I think there's only one character I have on here that came. Actually, no, I have two characters on here that came back to life. But their death was still sad, and you didn't see them coming back to life, so it wasn't an obvious thing. So when you did, you got so excited. At least I did. So yeah, one of them didn't exactly come back to life. It's more like reality itself changed. But I'll get to that when I get to her. So anyways, so we'll just get to the list, shall we? So let's see. Number 10, I have Olaf. So he actually died in Frozen 2, technically. And it was sad. I was all upset. Anna was like, she thought she was all insecure with Kristoff, with her relationship with Kristoff, and so she thought he left her, and then Elsa did leave her, and then Olaf was dying in her arms, and it was just, I was crying. I was like, don't do this to my Anna. But Olaf's death was sad, and he did come. Oh, so there's actually three characters that came back. Sorry. Okay, so yeah, three characters that come back on this list, because Olaf does come back, because Elsa was able to recreate him, so he got a happy ending. Not every character on this list will get a happy ending. Most of them won't. So number 9, I have Jet from Avatar: Last Airbender. Don't get me wrong, I'm not a Jet fan, but his death was sad because he was like, I feel like if he did survive, he would have joined Team Avatar, and because I feel like he was on the verge of having a redemption arc. It wouldn't have been nearly as good as Zuko's, obviously, because very few are, but I could have seen it happening. But his death was still sad, and even though he had hurt Katara, she was still like, no, you're not gonna die, you're gonna be okay. And then Toph told someone, I think Sokka, that Jet was lying when he said that he's gonna be okay, because he knew that he wasn't. So yeah. Number 8, I have Vigo from Dragon's Race to the Edge, which is a TV show about how to train a dragon, because those movies, that franchise, the series, everything are just purely a masterpiece. I love them. Vigo was the main villain for several seasons. Because you don't actually, I'm trying to think. I think you don't mean, because at the beginning the main villain was Dagger, and then in season 2 is when I think you meet Riker, and then shortly after that's when you meet his boss and little brother Vigo, and then after that Vigo became the main villain. Even after he died, he supposedly died, because he did supposedly die at the end of season 4 when he fell into a volcano, but turns out he didn't actually fall into lava. He fell into an edge and was able to save himself. But then Astrid ends up seeing him on the back of that one new villain guy, his dragon. He turns around and looks at her, and so you find out that Vigo is alive. But then Johan, who turned out to be a villain, and the other guy, I cannot remember his name for the life of me, ended up turning on him, and he ends up being saved by a dragon. And he realized that dragons aren't as bad as he thought, and they're actually, and he realized that he didn't want to hunt dragons anymore, because a dragon saved his life, and he realized that they're actually really good, kind, caring creatures. So he had that little development. It wasn't as good as Zuko's, obviously, because it happened a little too fast, maybe, but it happened out of nowhere as well. But I still liked it, and I liked the fact that he did change before he died, and he sacrificed himself, going out to let Hiccup and Toothless escape so they can defeat Johan and the other guy. And he ended up dying, and when I first watched that, I had so many mixed feelings, because at one point, I did like him for everything he's done. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's a good villain, but you're supposed to not like him. and then at another point he wasn't that person anymore, and he sacrificed himself for them, and I was like, I didn't know what I was supposed to feel. But now, after several rewatches, I am kind of sad that they killed off Vigo, because I did end up liking him near the end. So yeah. Number 7, I have Splinter, on the 2012 adaptation of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, because I didn't really, season 4 was alright, and I didn't really like season 5 except for, the 2-parter with Mona Lisa and the 3-parter with the monsters, where Raph becomes a vampire, because I like to see Vampire Raph. I was all here for Vampire Raph. But Splinter ended up fighting Shredder at the end of season 4, and sacrificed himself for his sons, and ended up dying. And then the Turtles had to defeat Shredder, which they did. But it was just sad because it was sad to see the Turtles lose their dad, and I'm still not okay with it. I didn't like that they killed him off, and I think that's partly the reason why I didn't like it that much after that, except for those few episodes. So that made me sad. But the death was sad, and killing off Splinter was bogus. But yeah, so it was definitely sad, and anyone who's seen it probably agrees. If you haven't, you should, because it's on Hulu. I really like that version of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I really only like 2 versions of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and the series is my second favorite. My first favorite will always be the original live-action ones. The first 2, at least. The third movie I did not like. But the original ones that were made 1980, 1990, around that time. Because I don't like the newer live-action versions. The 2016, those, they do not even look like turtles. Come on. Number 6, I have Hiroshi. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but Hiroshi Sato, however you pronounce this stupid name. So I didn't like him. I mean, I liked him at first. He seemed like a nice guy, a good dad to Asami. Oh, this is from Legend of Korra. I should probably mention that. Oh well. But then he ended up be working with the Equalists, and then Asami had to turn on him to help her friends and do what was right, which is an amazing move because very few people actually has the guts to turn against their dad, even if he is helping the bad guys. But fighting him to help the good guys isn't an easy task when it's your dad you have to fight. But and then I don't think you see him again until season 4, because Asami and Korra were talking about how Asami's dad had sent her letters, I think, and she was thinking about visiting him or something, and then she does visit him, and they talk. I don't really remember what they talked about, but they talked. And I do remember they ended up letting him out of prison temporarily to help them because they needed more geniuses with the big battle that was going on with Kruvira. And how do we pronounce his name? Hiroshi and Asami were in that that contraption they built, and then Hiroshi had added some button that Asami didn't know about, so he pressed it, and she flew out of the machine, and he ended up dying to protect her. And it was really sad because even though I didn't much like him anymore, I mean, I never loved him. He was kind of a meh character, but I mean, he was a good character. But I was like, no, you worked with the Equalists, but then he sacrificed himself as for his daughter, because in the end he still loved her, and that was heartbreaking. Number 5, I have Angela from She-Ra and the Princesses of Power. That was a sad death. I mean, I have mixed feelings about Angela to begin with. I mean, she can be kind of strict with Glimmer and stuff, and she can seem kind of mean at times, but she is trying to just doing her best as a single mom, and trying to, run her kingdom. Plus, she was the only kingdom at the time until Glimmerbow and Adora started rallying up the other princesses. They were the only kingdom really still fighting the Horde, and they were the rebellion, and so she had a lot on her plate, so it kind of makes you understand. But then with everything that was going on at the end of season 3, and they had the whole portal thing had happened, and now all of a sudden people that were dead was alive, and it was kind of an alternate universe. What happened if Adora never left the Horde to join the rebellion? What if Glimmer, I don't think Glimmer and Bo were that close friends. I mean, they knew each other, but Bo, instead of being this awesome fighter, was just a historian like his parents wanted him to be. And I'm like, no, that's not okay. You can't do that to my Bo! Sorry, I have issues. I love Bo so much. He's my sweetheart. I love Bo. But all that was going on, Glimmer's dad was alive, even though you do find out later on he actually was alive, which was so sad that Adela died before she got to reunite with him. But still, in this version he was there, but a few people kept getting memories of their real lives, because this wasn't real, not anymore at least. You know, Adora was the first one getting memories, and then so was I don't remember her name now. I almost said Perfume, crap, what's her name? The lobster lady. Man, I can't remember her name. Okay. But she was getting memories as well, and Glimmer and Bo, after they met Adora, started getting memories, and Adora was gonna sacrifice herself because whoever shut this off would die. And then Angela at this point had also gotten memories and said goodbye to the love of her life again, which was really sad. And then she flew to stop Adora and asked if she was going to be okay as well, and realized that if she did this, she was going to die. And she said, because at this point Adora had become like another daughter to her, she loved her, and so she explained how she was a coward. She let everyone else fight and always said that she had to protect herself because she was the queen and the kingdom needed her, but she was just afraid. And so she didn't want to be afraid anymore, and she flew up there and dismantled it, but also ended up dying. And Adora telling Glimmer was so sad, and she cried, and all the princesses gathered around her. But oh my gosh, it was such a sad scene. I mean, what's next? 4, I have Yue from Avatar: The Last Airbender. Yue, she was only on the last couple episodes of season 1. I almost said season 5. What? There aren't even 5 seasons. Okay, season 1. But but I still kind of liked her. She was nice, and Sokka liked her a lot. But then the Firebenders took away the moon, and the Waterbenders were getting weak, and her kingdom would have gotten destroyed. So she ended up giving her soul to the moon spirit and became the moon spirit to save them, even though she knew what would happen. And Sokka was so sad, and then Yue came back as a ghost, gave him a kiss, and went on to be the moon spirit, and it was so sad. Number 3 is Angel from Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated. So like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, there's only really 2 Scooby-Doo adaptations I love. This one being my second favorite, but my first favorite will always be the live action ones with Sarah Michelle Gellar and Freddie Prinze Jr. But this one I absolutely love. I think I mentioned it in a recent video because I do want to talk about it more often. I think I'm going to do a video soon of TV shows I love but don't talk about enough, and this will definitely be on one. I mean, yeah, this is only my second time talking about it on the channel, I think, and that makes me sad because I really do love it. But what stands this out from all the other Scooby-Doo adaptations is the fact that, yes, they still have those everyday mysteries. Every episode was a new mystery. They had to figure out who was behind the mask, this and that. But what made it so different was that even though they were dealing with that, there was also this bigger mystery that that every episode they were finding clues for it, and there was just this huge other mystery that the entire show is about, instead of just, these everyday mysteries of people in costumes. There's this bigger, more sinister evil out there, and Angel has been on since the very beginning. She was the only adult they ever felt like they could trust, the only one that ever was on their side and helped them in their little mysteries and research. She was the person at the radio, so they always hung out with her at the radio station. And one of the bigger mystery surrounded about the original Mystery Incorporated. Before then, there was another Mystery Incorporated, and there was actually several before them, all about 4 teenagers and a dog, or not dog, but an animal sidekick. But they find out that Angel was actually part of the original Mystery Incorporated. She played she was Cassidy Williams, and so she ended up having and then so they didn't trust her after that, and then she kept trying, and then she was getting attacked and was trying to get them to trust her because she cared about these kids, and she was the only one that really did out of the original Mystery Incorporated. She was always trying to protect them and do what's best for them because she really did care about them. And then she ended up sacrificing herself just as they were starting to warm up to her again to save them. And it was really sad, and they were all sad that she had died. Even one of the people from the original Mystery Incorporated, who was the main villain from the beginning, but he had started having a character development, started realizing that this was all wrong and that this treasure had ruined their lives, because he did love Cassidy, and it was just sad that she died. But then at the end, the kids ended up stopping this sinister evil, and it kind of changed their lives. It kind of rewrote reality altogether, to be honest. So, and then at the end, none of the mysteries they solved, all of it never happened all of a sudden. That meant Angel was alive, but she never went by the name Angel. She was Cassidy Williams, and the guy that loved her but was part of the villains had never joined that, was never part of the villains. And so the two of them were together and happy, and yeah, so she ended up being alive and okay, but since none of this happened, it never really gets into it, but my guess is that the two of them, Angel never ended up befriending the group of teens. I don't know, but yeah. Number 2, I have Stoic. Stoic is from How to Train Your Dragon, and he has one of the saddest animated deaths ever. It was just, I mean, especially since he just found out his wife was alive after all these years, and that just got reunited with her, and it was just so sad. And Stoic sacrificed himself to save Hiccup, and Hiccup, because Toothless was being mind controlled, and so he was the cause of Stoic's death. And then Hiccup got mad at Toothless, but then wanted Toothless back because he was just upset and knew it wasn't actually his fault. And Stoic's death was just sad. I ended up loving him in the second movie and in the TV show Dragon's Race to the Edge. I did not like him in the first movie because he was a kind of a jerk and not that great of a father to Hiccup, because Hiccup was different. He didn't want to kill dragons. He wanted to befriend them, and he fought for them. But yeah. So his death ended up being sad in the end, and it made me cry. It still makes me cry. Honorable mentions, I have Mufasa, Littlefoot's mom, Mufasa from Lion King, Littlefoot's mom from, what's it called? Land Before Time, and Tadashi Hamada from Big Hero 6, because their deaths were sad. And then number 1, I have Sandy. So from Rise of the Guardians, he was the Sandman, one of the Guardians. He doesn't talk. He talks with these sand things over his head, like little symbols. That's how he talks. But he's really cute. He's the best character. I'm in love with him. My earbuds. Okay. And he's just amazing in every way possible. And he's also the only Guardian that Pitch was actually afraid of. You could see it. He was terrified of Sandy. And Sandy was the only one that could really match his power. I mean, Jack kind of could too, but not very many people could match Pitch's power. And Sandy is extremely powerful, and he was basically fighting Pitch and all of his shadow creatures on his own for a while, because all the other Guardians were asleep and had to go to him. And Sandy ended up dying because even though he was powerful, he not even he could hold off all of them for that long by himself, and the other ones were the other guardians were just too late to catch him, and it was just really really sad, and I cried when I first watched that. But then he does come back later on when the guardians are all kind of been weakened. Actually no, I think this was after they got their strength back, but the guardians fought Pitch was fighting Pitch along with some kids, and then all of a sudden some yellow sand grabs Pitch, a hold of Pitch, and then all of a sudden you see this sand thing, and Sandy comes out of it, and everyone is watching in amazement because Sandy's alive, and then he ends up beating the crap out of Pitch because go Sandy, you're the bomb. I love Sandy, if you could not tell. And then they were able to defeat Pitch because of Sandy, because I mean they were about to lose. They were seriously about to lose. Pitch was about to kill Jack, and then all of a sudden Sandy comes out, beats the crap out of him, and then all these shadow creatures run after Pitch instead of the Guardians, and boom, so Sandy won in the end. Sandy's the best. I love Sandy. But his death was extremely sad, and I remember the first time I watched this movie was actually in 7th grade. I watched it at class because I think it was like a holiday or something, or like close to a holiday before a break or something. I don't remember, but I just remember I was in reading class and the teacher put on this movie. Okay, we did not finish this movie, but I wanted to finish it because I did not want to watch this movie. I didn't care about it. But then all of a sudden, I got all into it, and I fell in love with Sandy, and then he died, and then I searched to find the movie. Finally did, and I watched it again, cried again when Sandy died. Find out he survived it. I got so excited. I love Sandy so much, and I always love his scenes he's in. But that's all for this video. That's enough for that rant. But please like and subscribe and comment your saddest animated deaths, and we'll chat below. And I'll talk to you guys later.